Hi, my name's Tom. I was sent this Antarctic Star tower fan to go ahead and give it a quick review, and that's what I'm doing. As you can see, it's pretty tall. It's standing right here. It is next to my bed. I have actually used it for about a week and a half now. Next to my bed is kind of a sleep aid, kind of a way to cool off the bedroom. It's getting to be kind of summertime here, so it's getting to be a little warmer. And then we're using this instead of actually turning on the whole house AC. And so far, it's worked pretty well. So if you're unfamiliar with tower fans, this is kind of how they work. All the mechanics, all the actual fan parts are in here, and they blow the air up, and then they come out this way. They come straight out. But the nice part about a tower fan is it's a nice wide swath of air. It's not like a regular circular fan where it just blows this beam of air. It's kind of a big wave of air, and it's actually fairly nice. It is tall enough to kind of go over the bed as well. So that's kind of nice as well because my bed, again, is a couple feet off the ground and the air just kind of flows right across it. And it does provide a nice cooling and a nice white noise, sort of a hum for when you're sleeping. It works really well. So let's talk about the actual fan itself. You do get a bunch of buttons on the top, and you also get a remote control. The remote is infrared, so that you have to go ahead and kind of aim it at the top of the up here where the sensor is, but that works fine because again, you normally have a line of sight to your fan. So you can see the same buttons here that are actually up there. There's one extra button on the remote, and you can turn the light on and off. So if you're sleeping at night, you can turn off that light, or you can turn it right back on. It's a little bit bright right there, but it will go ahead and turn down. It is a white LED. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the remote, just so you can kind of see how this whole thing works. So I'll hit power, and there's my power. This is a temperature gauge. The temperature gauge is kind of approximate. It's within a degree or two. So right now I have low fan, and this means I have a steady fan. Can you see that? There we go. It's a little fan symbol, so it's a steady fan. And I can go ahead and I can change the speed of the fan itself right here, speed. So there's two little lines. That means it's a little faster. It's medium. And then there's high. You may not hear much of a difference, but I can feel a little bit of a difference. It's not a tremendous difference, but the difference between low and high is definitely noticeable. The fan also oscillates, so I can go ahead and put it on oscillate, and I can have it go back and forth all the way across. Got a nice oscillation, a nice angle. Or you can just wait for it to get exactly where you want it to be and click oscillate again. It is a nice precise stop. So the moment it gets there, I hit the oscillate button again and boom, it stops. It's good. There is a timer mode, so you can go ahead and have it run just for a certain amount of time. So there we go, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, so forth. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put timer off, so that's good. Let's talk about modes. There are several different modes to run here. There is right now we're on fan mode. That's just steady fan, steady speed. So in this case it's low, so I have a steady fan speed of, well, low. I'm going to hit mode again. This little tree is something called wind. And what wind does is it kind of varies. So take it down and then it'll bring it back up. It'll make it feel like wind. Here are all the wind modes. There's a high wind, a middle wind, and a low wind. And you can see it's largely the same. A couple different up and downs. But you see it goes up and then it goes down, then it goes up and then it down. And then it goes ahead and cycles through it again. So if you like that, you can turn it on, and it's supposed to feel a little bit natural. It's supposed to feel a little less static as a simple fan that just runs all the time. Last but not least, there's a sleep mode. What sleep mode will do is it will turn off the light, and it will just kind of slowly make it go lower and lower as it goes. Assembly of the snap, all there is this base down here comes in 2 halves, and that 2 halves, you just click them together, and then you go ahead and you put it on the bottom of this tower, and you use like 6 screws to kind of screw it in. The holes may not seem like they line up, but the way it's designed is they're just tiny little metal screws, and it's a soft plastic, so you just screw them in tight, not so tight that it breaks, but tight enough that it'll kind of pull everything together, because I was kind of worried about that. But once I put it all together, my base is nice and tight, it's nice and solid, there's no problem whatsoever, and that's it. 6 little screws, and that's it. Everything else is automatically assembled. This is ready to go. Oh, and by the way, when you're done with the remote or you don't want to use it, there's actually a little slot in the back. You can put it in there as storage. That's kind of clever. A couple other quick things about this. The actual plug itself has a tiny little fuse in it, kind of like Christmas tree lights. So there's a little bit of protection against power surges. You can always just go ahead and replace that fuse. You can get them at hardware stores. The remote itself actually uses a little watch battery, so you can just pop that out and you can go ahead and replace that if it ever goes bad. But I making the assumption it'll last for several years at least, so that's not a big deal. Cleaning this thing is really not too bad. What you can do is you can actually go ahead and take a vacuum and kind of run it up and down. A vacuum brush kind of run up and down will actually pull some of that dust straight out of the tower there. Again, not a big deal. I haven't had too much of a problem with any kind of dust or dirt so far. What you can also do with this is you can place it if you have a wall, vent that actually has an AC. So maybe you have a whole house AC unit running. You could put this in front of that and kind of move some of that cool air from that vent out into your room. If you have a window AC unit, same idea. You could, because this is tall enough, you can probably put it in front of the window or close to in front of the window and kind of pull some of that cool air and kind of push it across the room in a way that the AC probably couldn't do. Overall, this is actually a pretty nice little tower fan. It doesn't actually replace an AC unit, but when you turn it on and when you put it on the low or the medium especially, there is a nice cool air going across it. You do feel cooler. It does take some of the heat out of the air. It does actually cool things down a little bit as it blows across your skin. That's kind of how fans work in general. It won't take the humidity out, but if the fan's blowing, it'll actually feel drier. So it does make you feel cooler, even if the temperature itself is not cooler. Overall, I kind of like this fan. I'm going to keep it in my bedroom. It's a great sleep aid. It's great for kind of cooling me off and giving me some white noise that I couldn't normally get. I do have a ceiling fan as well, but the ceiling fan kind of blows down and it's a little uneven. This has a little more control over it. I can just kind of angle it to where I want it on my bed, and I just leave it there, and I sleep better with this than with the ceiling fan. So for what it's worth. Overall, yeah, it's a good little tower fan. I really like it. I would recommend it.